Hey, how's everyone doing? Today I'm going to be showing you how to complete the Dead of the Night Easter eggs solo and co-op. This map is basically the Zetsubo of Black Ops 4, meaning that most of this Easter egg is just one big ass fetch quest, so you're going to be running around grabbing things to set up for the main quest, like a decent amount. I'm going to try and just go in order of things that I grab every single time I do this, so let's just jump into it. Before we start, let's go over a class setup. For a starting weapon, as per usual, bring in the Strife, and for your equipment, it's not really going to matter. I always bring in the Wraithfires, but we're going to get rid of these pretty quickly in exchange for the Homunculus. For the specialist weapon, I recommend bringing in the Chakrams for the tier 3 ability. The swirling attack it does is pretty good if you're in a bind, but you won't really be using the specialist weapon all that much, so this is pretty much just up to you. Perks are going to be pretty simple. I brought in Dying Wish, Victorious Tortoise, PhD Slider, and Winter's Wail in my modifier slot. With Winter's Wail in the modifier slot, you get a 4th hit activation, and when you get hit twice, ice will continuously blast around you, slowing down zombies for a couple seconds. PhD Slider will be useful if you plan on using the Helion Salvo like me for 0 explosive damage, but if you don't want to use the Helion Salvo for the boss fight or for any reason, you can sub it out for stamina. Classic elixirs are perfectly fine for this Easter egg, but if you have some to spare and want to make this go by faster, then I brought in Shopping Free, Perkaholic, Raindrops, and Immolation Liquidation. Finally, a talisman is not required at all, but I recommend bringing in the Supercharged Crystal for an automatic tier 3 specialist weapon if you have one to spare, or you can bring in a different one. It really doesn't matter at all. So step 1 of the Easter egg is to interact with the Sentinel artifact, which is located at the top of the grand staircase, and once you've completed that really hard step, I'm going to go over all of the buildables right now rather than just taking you through it as they come through, because it's just easier this way, and I made the video and I want to do it this way. So let's start with the shield. There's going to be 3 pieces with all 3 having 3 different possible spawn locations. The first part is going to be leaning on the railing in the east balcony on this pillar to the right of the Sentinel artifact, or it can be on this wall in the west balcony. The second part can be found in the library on this couch in the corner, across from that leaning on this broken bookshelf, or on the second floor in the study on this table. The third and final part can be found in the east hallway on this chair, across from that in the dining room under this light fixture, or on the floor to the left of this door leading to the greenhouse. When you find all 3 parts, take them to this workbench in the smoking room and build it. Now we can work on getting the silver bullets, and these make your weapon's damage output a little better and are needed for specific steps later. This is slightly complicated, so let me break it down for you real quick. I'm not funny, but that's okay. There are 6 parts with all 6 having 3 different possible spawn locations. The first 3 parts are all pieces of silver that will be melted down. Starting with the candle holder, this can be found in the main hall to the right of this fireplace in front of the vase, on the floor in the billiards room, or on this left side table in the entrance hall. The silver platter can be found in the wine cellar on this shelf in the hole in the wall, on the other side mounted on the wall, and directly behind you on this corner of the table. The final piece being a silver vase can be found in the dining room on this coffee table, on the corner of the main table, or in the west hallway on the floor to the right of this couch. When you grab all 3 pieces of silver, take them down to the bottom of the wine cellar and melt them down at this workbench, then pick up the melted silver. The next 3 parts are to make gunpowder for the silver bullets. Charcoal can be found in front of this fireplace in the main hallway, in front of this fireplace in the master bedroom, or in front of this fireplace in the billiards room. The bat guano, or literal shit, can be found in the cemetery to the right of these stairs, just up the path around this bend in the corner, or in front of this tree next to the mausoleum. The sulfur can be found in the greenhouse to the left and right of the entrance on these tables, and finally to the back left on this table. When you have the melted silver and those other 3 parts, come to this workbench in the library and craft the silver bullets, but don't equip them yet unless you have a powerful weapon. I usually get them on the Helion Salvo, so I would say get that and then equip the silver bullets. The first purchase is always free, and then if you want them on a different weapon, you have to spend 550 points on an unpapped weapon and 5,500 on a papped weapon. And you can have silver bullets on multiple weapons. It can't just be one at a time. At this point, we should probably get the Alistair's Folly, which is the wonder weapon of this map, and it's going to be required for more than one step. There's 2 ways of getting it though, so you can either test your luck with the mystery box and get it, or you can find 4 symbols hidden around the map. The 4 symbols have 4 different possible spawn locations, and the symbols can change in every game, but the spawn locations will never change. The red symbol can be found on this wall before going down the stairs in the east gallery, to the right of the fireplace in the master bedroom on the wall, in the wine cellar through this window on the top right barrel, or above this painting in the dining hall. The green symbol can be found in the greenhouse terrace through this gate on the wall, in the gardens inside the gazebo on this wall, behind you through this gate on the left side wall, or through this gate on the right of the perk, and it'll be on the left side. The blue symbol can be found on the right of the stairs in the cemetery outside the map on this tombstone, at the top of the stairs on this tomb, on this lion statue at the very back left of the mausoleum, or it can be on this wall near the right side exit. The yellow symbol can be found in the forest terrace. It'll either be on the wall to the left, on the wall to the right, through this gate on the left wall, or through this gate at the far end. When you find all 4 of the symbols, remember them or write them down and come to the back of the library, and on the wall there's going to be a safe with the Alistair's Folly inside of it. All you have to do is just input the codes that you got, so your symbols along with your color in the right spaces, and the safe will open, allowing you to pick it up. Next we can open up Pack-a-Punch, and this is going to be kind of tedious. I hate doing this every single time I have to do it, and there's going to be 3 crystals you can find inside the map, and they'll be hidden inside bases that you have to break. These 3 crystals also have 3 different spawn locations each, except for one. One of them only has 2 different spawn locations. The green crystal can be found inside the library in this vase in the middle of the room, to the right of the silver bullets inside this vase, or upstairs on this coffee table inside the vase. The blue crystal can be found inside the wine cellar to the left of the perk location, or on the right of the perk location on this table. The purple crystal can be found in the bedroom hallway here, inside the master bedroom in front of the bed, or in the trophy room in front of the fireplace. These crystals are soul boxes, and each one requires 4 souls to fill in solo, but the more people you have in your game, the more souls that they'll require. When you have all 3 filled up, they begin to glow, and you can gaze into them to see a picture. You'll only get 3 images, but there's like 13 different pictures that it could be. So I'm going to show you all of them and where you need to go to complete 3 different challenges based on those images you get. It's random in every game, but you'll always get 1 image of a clock, a perk, and an item or a painting. Just remember, you have to gaze in all 3 of the crystals. There are 3 different clocks, and starting with this one, you need to go to this clock in the dining room. This image will make you go to the clock in the billiards room, and this image will make you go to this clock in the main hall. When you get your image, go to the corresponding clock and interact with it to start a short lockdown. A symbol will appear on the floor, and you just need to stay inside of it for about a minute or maybe 2, and the symbol will disappear, causing a tuning fork to come out of the clock. Just go ahead and pick up that tuning fork. The next image you'll receive is a perk statue, and the perks on this map don't always spawn in the same spots, except for Danu. That one will always be in the same spot. So I'll show you all the different locations now. A perk can spawn in the mausoleum, on the forest terrace, in the wine cellar, or in the gardens. When you get your image of a perk, go to it wherever it is, and as soon as you enter the area, a bunch of vampires will spawn. Just go ahead and take them out to dinner, and when the final one is gone, it'll drop another tuning fork for you to pick up. The final image you can get will either be an item or a painting. The scroll is going to be in the study on this bookshelf. The noose will be in the wine cellar on the back of this chair. The doll will be to the left side of Danu. The painting of an old man and woman is in the smoking room. The painting of this girl up close is in the east gallery. The painting of this woman in a gown is in the music room. And this painting of a woman wearing a maid outfit can be found in the tea room. When you get your image of either the item or the painting, go to where it is and interact with it. A ghost will appear out of the item, and you need to follow the ghost. Stay close to this ghost to get it to move, and eventually it will break something, revealing another tuning fork. This ghost will not move if you are far away from it, and it will go into some out of bounds areas of the map. Just watch to see where it goes and head in that direction, and you'll be fine. When you get all 3 tuning forks, come to the back of the forest terrace and interact with this debris. It will disappear, opening a gate, and a werewolf will spawn. Save this werewolf until you get silver bullets on your desired weapon, or if you already have silver bullets, then take him out with the silver bullets, because he'll drop a part to upgrade the wonder weapon that you'll need. If you take the path all the way down, Pack-a-Punch will be at the bottom. Finally, the last thing we can do before we actually move on to the Easter egg steps is upgrade the wonder weapon for the first time. And yes, we'll need to do this twice, but the first time isn't hard. A second ago, you should have killed the werewolf with silver bullets to get the chaos material. Now go to this bookshelf in the library and melee it with the shield. It'll open, revealing another part. When you have both the parts, head over to the laboratory and insert the chaos material here, and after about 20 seconds on the left side, Prima Materia will come out for you to pick up. Now come over to this workbench to the right of that and build the chaos theory. After all that, we can finally start on step 2. Go back to the 3 crystals and gaze inside of them again. This time you'll see 3 more pictures of an effigy, an atlas, and a knight. These images are for the 3 main challenges you need to complete before the boss fight, and you can do these in any order, but I'm just going to show you the order that I did them in my game. Starting with the atlas, come to the mausoleum and shoot this coil on the top of the building with any weapon that has silver bullets. Make your way over to the North Atrium Bridge, and there will be 3 boxes leaning over the rails. Walk up to all 3 to get them to open, and 3 turn dials will come out. All you have to do is look at the giant statue and get the 3 colored lights to shine brightly at the same time. This is super simple though. Come to the far left turn dial and turn it until the blue light is shining bright. Then come to the far right dial and turn it until the green light is shining bright. Now go to the middle one and turn it until the red light is shining. Finally go back to the left wheel and turn it until all of them are shining at the same time. This will work every time, and if it doesn't, then just start at the beginning again, because it doesn't matter if you've already turned a dial, you can still go back to the start and it will only make 1 turn. When you've done it correctly, the head of the statue will fall on the stage in the main hall, and now you have to go around the map and find 3 different Zodiac signs and 3 different sets of scratch marks in the same area. The symbols have 7 different locations, meaning that there's going to be 28 different locations for the scratch marks, which seems like a lot, but I promise it's not. Also, before I show you the locations, you need to treat these scratch marks as tally marks, because you'll need to be adding up the sets of scratch marks, and it's not impossible to only have 2 sets. So if one location has nothing there, but you have a symbol nearby, then that's okay. Sometimes that happens. The first symbol location can be found under this table in the entrance hall, and the scratches can be found to the right of that on this statue, to the right of that on the bottom of this wall next to the window, and behind you on the wall. The second symbol can be found in the library next to this vase. The scratches can be found directly to the left of that above this window, directly behind the symbol on this box in front of the couch, and on the floor in front of this statue when looking from the stairs. The third symbol can be found under this table in the billiards room. The scratches can be found to the top left of this cabinet on the wall to the left of the bookshelf, and on the floor under this table. The fourth symbol is located in the wine cellar in the bottom corner of the wine shelf. The scratches can be found on this big barrel at the bottom, on this cabinet under the silver platter spawn, or on this barrel next to the window. The fifth symbol location is behind this candle in the main hall next to the stairs. The scratches can be found behind this statue near the water, above this fireplace on the right, and in the north atrium in the top left of this wall. The sixth symbol location is found inside the dining hall on the bottom right of this door frame. The scratches are found behind you up on this red wall, on this corner of the main dining table, and on the roof above this coffee table. The seventh and final symbol location is found in the trophy room behind this lamp on the right side of the display case. The scratches are directly behind you on the left of this fireplace, on the left side of the bed on this nightstand, and through this window on the wall above the tub. When you find your 3 symbols, find your scratch marks and add them up like tally marks. Now write down your symbol or draw it along with your total and make your way into the laboratory on the top floor. There will be a wheel with a bunch of different symbols on it. You need to interact with the wheel to turn it and input the symbols you had in your game. But hold on, before you do, you need to input the symbols from lowest to highest. So for example, if your numbers were 12, 7, and 9, you would input it in the order of 7, 9, and 12. To input the symbol, you need to melee the dial for the blue light on the symbol to disappear, and then the symbol will appear directly above you inside of this little like glass thingy. I don't know what the fuck you call it, okay? It just appears there. Now, let's say that you do this completely wrong, because that happens sometimes. I did it wrong my first go around. You need to go back from the start and find all of the symbols again, along with the scratch marks. And the symbols can change, and the amount of numbers you get will change too. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You need to go do that if you fail. So don't fail, do it right the first time. You'll also need to flip the round in order to find the symbols and the scratch marks again. If you did it correctly, the telescope will start to spin, and directly behind you, there will be a valve you need to turn to open the door above the telescope. While spinning the wheel, hold out your shield, because when it's fully open, you need to shield bash it to get it to stay open. Now, if you're doing this in co-op, everyone needs to pull out their shield and run to the electric trap on the bottom floor. Someone needs to turn it on, and everyone needs to run through it with their shield out, then come back up to the telescope. Then everyone needs to shield bash the telescope at the same time with the electric shield. If done correctly, a light beam will shoot out of it, clearing the clouds, and the moon will be exposed, kind of like Dr. Disrespect right now. In solo, get Winter's Wail to hold the zombie before turning on the trap, and just do the exact same thing. Go back down to the bottom floor and come over here. After a couple seconds, a large stone will come out of this area, and you need to interact with it holding down the button for like 5 seconds, and a lockdown will start, spawning in a bunch of zombies and vampires. Stand at the back where you see me now and shoot charged wonder weapon shots at the floor. Also, just a quick side tip, we'll be upgrading the wonder weapon again in a couple minutes, and we'll need bile, which is gotten by popping the cherries of vampires with charged shots from the chaos theory. So pick up 3 pieces of this green bile on the floor whenever a vampire goes out from the wonder weapon. After a little bit of time in this lockdown, 3 werewolves will spawn in one at a time, and you need to take out all 3, preferably with something that has silver bullets, because they'll take more damage, making it easier. When you take out the final werewolf, a white flash will cover your screen, and you can head back to the stone, interact with it, and it will disappear, giving you a max ammo. Now you can move on to the final upgrade needed for the wonder weapon before step 3. And I'll just reiterate real quick from a second ago, you have to get this upgrade because it's needed for the rest of the Easter egg. A second ago, you should have collected 3 pieces of bile from the vampires. Take the bile to this glowing tomb in the graveyard, and a crimson Nosferatu will come out of it. Just shoot a charged wonder weapon shot at the ground in front of him right before he appears. But make sure it's the tornado effect, and he'll just jump into it like a buddy checking to see if there's fall damage in a game. Once he's gone, he'll drop prima materia for you to pick up. Now, to the left of the tomb, there will be these lamps surrounding the stairs that are lit up, and one will be glowing more reddish in color than the others. You need to shoot that lamp, and another one will appear for you to find and shoot. You need to do this a total of 4 times. And on the final lamp, another Nosferatu will spawn, but this one will try to fly away. But if you shoot him with the chaos theory while the animation is playing, then he'll just drop the prima materia right where he spawned instead of trying to go skeet shooting with him. I know these lamps are a pain because it's virtually impossible to kind of see which lamp is the right one. There are 3 lamps that will always be on no matter what. This lamp on the bottom right of the stairs, this lamp second from the right of the top, and this one on the far left staircase. Hopefully that helps. If not, I don't know what to tell you. If you fail to do this, then you'll have to wait 90 seconds before another lamp turns on. Or, as I've heard, it's never happened to me, in extremely rare cases, it will never respawn and your game is completely fucked and you have to restart the game. I'm just the messenger here. I don't know what to tell you from then on. You just gotta restart your game if it happens. But pretty much 90 seconds is the sweet spot. For the final part, go to the Pack-a-Punch area, and on the floor there will be these 3 very noticeable mounds on the ground that have glowing mushrooms on top. You need to get a brainwashed zombie to dig up one of them by shooting it with a charged shot of the chaos theory. The effect that comes out needs to be the green one. The zombie should dig up the mound and the part will be there, but if it's not, you need to do this again at another one of the mounds. And again, there's only 3, so it should be pretty easy. The forest area of the map is super small, so I'm not going to show you where all 3 of the mounds are, but just trust and know that they are there. When you get all 3 of the parts, go back back to the laboratory and stick both pieces of Prima Materia in the machine, but you can only do one at a time. So put one in, then wait like 15 seconds, and on the left side, it will pop out for you to pick up, then do it again. Now take all 3 pieces to this workbench to craft the Alistair's Annihilator, because once again, this will be needed for step 3. Now moving into step 3, go into the cemetery and find 5 different trees that have the leaves completely blown off of them. You need to shoot these 5 until a branch falls off for you, and you need to pick up those branches. I'm just gonna let the video play out here because this way is way easier than explaining it.
Peace. Well, that bull took a swing at me, ended up in a shallow grave. Maybe you know him.
When you get all 5 of the branches, you now need to go find a tombstone that has a picture of a character on it, and it has to say the year 1912. In co-op, only the person who's using the character that has the image on the tombstone can do this next part. In solo, it doesn't matter who you're playing as, you'll still be able to interact with it. Find the tombstone in the cemetery and interact with it. You'll be put into a kind of zombie blood mode, and if you come over here in the center of the cemetery, those branches from earlier will be lined up, and you need to shoot a charged wonder weapon shot at it. But the effect has to be the red fire effect. The branches will then form an effigy and just go up to the effigy, interact with it, and you'll be crucified and pulled under the map. But you have to interact with it while the red effect from the wonder weapon is still on the ground, so you got to be kind of quick. When you come back up and are able to move, you'll be in this map's version of Afterlife from Mob of the Dead. You now need to go run around the entire map and look inside of every single zombie spawn until you hear or see a ghost talking to you. And you need to do the same thing as before, escorting the ghost back to the effigy. As a quick tip, you only have about 5 minutes to find this ghost and escort it back to the effigy. If you run out of time, flip around and crucify yourself again. When you do find and escort her back, she'll go up in flames and disappear, leaving behind another one of those stones, and you'll exit Afterlife. Once again, go up to the stone and hold your interact button for 5 seconds and another lockdown will start. This is the exact same as the other one, so just run around shooting charged shots of the wonder weapon, and when the werewolves spawn, take them out. After the 3rd werewolf is gone, go back to the stone, interact with it to get it to disappear, and pick up the max ammo. There's one more thing we need to do before moving on to the final step. We now need to go find 2 fire cores for some traps in the map. There's going to be a total of 3, but we only need 2 of them. There's going to be 14 locations for these, and here they are now. In the music room on top of the turned over chair, in the smoking room to the left of the shield on this couch, in the main hall in front of this vase, in the trophy room on this desk, in the wine cellar on this barrel to the left, on this bench in the gardens to the left of the gazebo, on this bench to the right of the gazebo, on this chair to the right of the door in the dining hall, on the left side of the weapon workbench in the laboratory, or it can be in the same spot in the same building, just on the opposite side of the room. It can also be on the ledge of this coffin in the cemetery, on this bench to the right when entering the cemetery, on this wall behind the mausoleum, and finally on the stairs in front of the mausoleum. When you find at least 2 of them, don't do anything yet. I'll show you where to put them in shortly. Step 4 is going to have you find 3 different gemstones hidden inside of fireplaces. To find these though, you need to get fire on your shield and shield bash 3 sets of 4 different fireplaces in a certain order. To start, go into the library and insert one of the fire cores into this trap in the doorway. Get Winter's Wail to freeze a zombie so it doesn't get taken out by the trap, then turn it on and shoot a charged wonder weapon shot at the fire to turn the flames blue. Pull out your shield and run through the trap, then without putting it away, shield bash the fireplaces in this order. The fireplace in the smoking room, then the one on the right side of the fire trap, then the one on the left side of the fire trap, and then the one inside the billiards room. After hitting that final one, a gemstone should come out for you to pick up. I don't know if it just doesn't render correctly sometimes, but like when I was looking at it, all I saw was like this blue glow. I never actually saw the gemstone, but basically if you see the fire still kind of like glowing, then you know that there's something there to grab. Now using the same trap, do the same thing and shield bash the fireplace in the main hall next to the Mazu, then in the east gallery, then in the main hall across from the first one, and finally the one up in the west gallery. Again, a gemstone should appear in the final fireplace, just go ahead and pick it up. For the final set of 4, place your second fire core in the fire trap at the master bedroom, turn it on, shoot a charge shot, and melee the fireplaces in this order: the trophy room, then in the master bedroom, then in the music room, and finally the one in the dining hall. Again, a gemstone will appear in the final fireplace for you to pick up. Now you need to go find 3 knight statues and place those gems in the chest plates of the knights. The first knight will be in the gardens to the back right corner, the second knight will be in the cemetery to the right side of the entrance, and the final knight will be in the main hall on the side of the dining room. Each time you place a gem inside of the knight's chest, the knight will crumble and then disappear, and the gem will start to follow you. If you run away from it or get too far from it, it'll stop following you, so walk with it all the way back into the main hall, and as soon as you get there, run away to go find your next knight. And when you come back with the second gem, the first one will still be sitting there and they'll both start following you. If you do this strategically enough, you can get the final gem from the knight in the main hall, and all you have to do is just have all 3 of them following you, or you can continuously have them follow you around the entire map. Either way, it doesn't really matter, just don't lose track of them. When you do have all 3 following you though, bring them to the forest and there will be 3 small symbols on the floor. You just need to get each gem to cross over the symbol and it'll stop moving. Once they do stop moving, a ghost of a knight will appear right where the gems stopped. And the 3 symbols, by the way, are like pretty easy to see. They're in a straight line. Like as soon as you find one, just kind of look to your left and right. Like they're not hard to see at all. When all 3 ghost knights are appearing, they'll turn into soul boxes, and in solo you need to fill them with 10 souls. Then when you do fill them with 10 souls, they'll move down slightly. Just watch where they go, and this time they'll only need to be filled with 6 souls each. In co-op for both phases of souls, it'll scale up depending on how many people are in the game. In the 3rd phase, they'll form a triangle around Pack-a-Punch and a werewolf will spawn. You need to take out that werewolf in the triangle, and after all that, another stone will appear on the floor. Just interact with it again for another 5 seconds and the 3rd and final lockdown will start. This time, a bunch of catalysts will spawn, but it's still pretty much the same as before. Just shoot charged wonder weapon shots, and when the 3 werewolves spawn, take them out like per usual. When the final one is gone, interact with the stone and grab the max ammo. At this point, you can move on to the boss fight though. Before you do go, I suggest bringing in the homunculus, so if you haven't already gotten those, go get them. Get your perks, Pack-a-Punch, get a new shield, and just do anything you can do to get set up. To start the boss fight, come to this giant wall on the left side of Pack-a-Punch in the forest and interact with it for 5 seconds. You'll get a cutscene taking you into the boss arena, and it's kind of cool to see, plus it's also like a short break from playing. When the cutscene's over and you're able to move, there's 3 things you need to know. One of them is that I have something stuck in my throat. Hold on a second. Alright, we're back. The 3 things you need to know are that there's going to be 3 light dials around the arena, and you'll be using these a lot. The boss's only attack for the most part is that he goes invisible and he'll run at you, dealing a ton of damage. It's like 150 to be exact. So basically just always be on the lookout for a dust trail coming after you, and if you see it, get out of the way. Finally, the last thing that you should probably know is that there's 3 phases. The first phase has a bunch of zombies and vampires running at you, as well as the boss doing his invisible attack. On the floor, there's going to be a green square as well as 1 green light, and you need to turn the other 2 light dials to point at the green square. So run around shooting charge shots and turn the dials. When all 3 of the light dials are green and facing the square, throw a homunculus and stand in the green square and wait for the boss to run at you, but this time let him hit you. He won't actually do any damage as long as you're in the green square, and he'll be stunned for a few seconds, allowing you to shoot the red spot on his chest, to deal as much damage as possible. It is possible to one-phase him here, but if you don't, then don't worry. You should be able to hurt him enough after changing the dials to be facing the new green square again, but you'll know if you've done enough damage because he's very noticeably gonna recoil in pain. The second phase is just a bunch of zombies, vampires, and werewolves coming at you, and eventually after taking out about 3 werewolves, you'll move on to phase 3, but this one is more just like a time-gated thing. So I would just say treat it like one of the lockdowns and just keep shooting charged wonder weapon shots. Also, during this point, a couple Crimson Nosferatus will also spawn in. It's the same as before. As long as you're shooting charged wonder weapon shots at the ground and they're running into it, then you're gonna be fine. Phase 3 is a little bit different. It's the same as phase 1, but this time the green square will also be invisible, but it's still not hard to find it. Usually, I just run to all 3 of the dials in a big train and turn them one at a time until one of them finds the green square, because once it is found, the square becomes visible again. So then just go back to the other 2 dials and turn them until they're facing the square. Again, stand in the square and bait the boss into stunning himself. He's like a toddler and pretty easily fooled, so it shouldn't be a problem. Again, also, if you can't one-phase him, then just do the exact same thing as before and run around turning the dials until you find the square and do enough damage until he falls over. And after all of that, the ending cutscene will begin to play, and for completing this Easter egg, you'll also receive the achievement Trial by Ordeal. I want to thank all of you for watching this video, and if it helped you out at all, let me know down in the comments. The next video I make to round out Black Ops 4 is going to be the Ancient Evil Easter egg guide. After that, I'll be moving on to Cold War. So again, I want to thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye.